Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm from the era where they fuck you up, then they take your tennis. Always on my grizzly like I play for Memphis. Mr. Triple Double, I don't do the bitches. Get the pen and pad and knock it down to business. Flip the work, stretch your calisthenics. You just getting started, I'm about to finish. Kick up my feet, then light up the spinners. We get a peg and flip it like a gymnast. Tell me what the fuck you know about the trenches. Everywhere from over east to the village. Run the game through the streets like a scrimmage. Keep it 100, don't need me no gimmick. Flow is wicked, so you know I'ma kill it. You study my shit, so you know what to mimic. But we know the difference from Bentleys and Civics. I'm not finished, always on my pivot. See it coming, anyone can get it. Except for them thoughts and them pigeons. Promoting violence, who with it? Rest in peace to my critics. Moment of silence, crickets. I wear my scars like a badge. Had to work hard for the cash. Go and tell them why you mad. Bitch, I be all in my bag. I wear my scars like a badge. Had to work hard for the cash. Go and tell them why you mad. Bitch, I be all in my bag. I wear my scars like a badge. Had to work hard for the cash. Go and tell them why you mad. Bitch, I be all in my bag. I wear my scars like a badge. Had to work hard for the cash. Go and tell them why you mad. Bitch, I be all in my bag.
Slickest old head you ever see. I'm connected, you can tether me. Chase it till I'm in that Royce truck with the 7 seats. They say I'm hot, like fucking on leather sheets. I'm 5 alarm blazing, level 3. Had to fight my way out of the devil teeth. Baltimore official, sit me right next to Mellow seat. Fantasize on that lime green Lambo with the yellow seats. Puffing that lime green with the yellow streaks. With a fine piece with the jello cheek. After 2 shots in the lead, I tell her eat. I hit the lights and turn the switch on. I never sleep. You pussies is hella sweet. Give them 1, but I sell them 3. Get them done, watch the rebel eat. Let the bass ride, let the treble speak. I'm on the baseline, you better let them eat. Dude crush and tell them better bag. Foul play, you gon' catch a flag. Drumming the mad, come through with nothing on top of the jag. Bitch, I be all in my bag. Bitch, I be all in my bag.
I got the drip, watch me drag.
Bitch, I be all in my bag.
I wear my scars like a badge. Had to work hard for the cash. Go and tell them why you mad. Bitch, I be all in my bag. I wear my scars like a badge. Had to work hard for the cash. Go and tell them why you mad. Bitch, I be all in my bag. I wear my scars like a badge. Had to work hard for the cash. Go and tell them why you mad.
Yeah, yeah. It's magic. Dude. Shout out Bass.
If it disagrees with experiment, it's wrong. And that simple statement is the key to science. It doesn't make a difference how beautiful your guess is. It doesn't make a difference how smart you are who made the guess or what his name is. If it disagrees with experiment, it's wrong.
Yeah, look, they said that I couldn't do it, so I went and did it. W's only, you know I've been winning. Top of the world, the globe is spinning. If you know, I've been on a mission. Go. Okay, let's get it. Got a little time on my hands like a wristwatch. I don't got time for the breaks and the pit stop. Race through the gridlock, take it like Chris Rock. Right to the chin, still win. Heavy metals like Slipknot. Got the driving, I got tunnel vision. I just hit my stride the way I run the business. I've been making paper like I'm Dunder Mifflin. See the end game, I got one division. Look, I don't ever bother with a critic. Hit him with a chronicle of Riddick. Boom, bottle full of Ritalin. I hit him with a little bit of riddle me this, riddle me that. My bad, fell asleep at the gas. No time to wait though. Elon Musk, I'm trying to bankroll. New Tesla just cause I say so. Electric whip like Ivan Van Gogh. I just did it. W's only, you know I've been winning. Top of the world, the globe is spinning. If you know, I've been on a mission. Okay, let's get it.
I've been on a mission like totally spice. I'm my baddie, she bad, but she totally nice. Nails are blue and her toes feel like white. They complete me med jar at the soul for my leg. He knew it for sure, but he left with a why.
What is up, party people? All right, today's going to be an interesting one. I usually say fun, but it's just not a fun one. I don't really enjoy this topic. In a sense, I don't enjoy this topic because it is something that, one, you have to look at from the rational side of things, and two, you got to look at it from the realistic side of things. They're not the same thing, believe it or not. I don't think they are, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. But first, let's say what's up. What's up, Shawn? How you doing, sir? Welcome, welcome. What's up, Blue? What up, C4? Welcome to anyone else that is listening. I put the links, if you're listening, but like from the Discord area, the links in the bunker to the panel, and just put that in the chat. Let me pin that up there so it now becomes part of what's going on. All right, nice and easy. I know TexLex wants to talk about that. It was inspired by the last stream. Towards the end, we kind of started really talking about defunding the police. I do have a very different stance, or belief, I guess you would say, on what defunding the police is, and what should be done to actually solve these issues. Not just, get rid of everything. It just, to me, doesn't make sense. I don't think really anybody that I've heard part of this discussion about defunding, I don't think even in the circles when I talk to people, I don't think anyone's said get rid of the cops. Maybe a few, but I haven't really gotten into a deep discussion how ridiculous that is. But I want to get into it. I definitely want to talk a lot about it because since the last stream, I've looked into it. I know Tex has, so we'll see where she's come up with things. But more importantly, what I've really, really noticed about this situation, this topic, is it's either, and a lot of people don't like this, it's either going to be super emotional based or it's going to be super, I want to say logically based, but if it's logically based, that should be the number one starter, right? So obviously people aren't agreeing with it, so it's going to just remain to be an emotional thing, I think. One of the big things that I have noticed with this and worries me with this is understand that the whole defund campaign, I guess you would say, was based on events that happened, right? The main one being like the George Floyd. To me, I understand what the issue is, right? But does George Floyd's situation, right? The cops that murdered him, what does that have to do with defund the police? Because that was the driving force behind defund the police. I asked that question. Maybe someone could enlighten me because I don't see the correlation in that at all. The same way I don't see a correlation with the recent events with Trump and the attempted assassination. One of the ladies, we watched that clip. If you didn't watch the last stream, we watched the clip of the hearing, and the lady was talking, and it was like, what information do you have about the shooter? Blah, 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 blah. Didn't get guys. Then out of nowhere, it was just like, what are we going to do about gun laws? And it's like a lot of people, a lot of mainstream specifically, does this. They tack on an issue with another issue, with another issue, and another issue, and they hope that their issue gets put on to this big issue and gets notoriety. To me, I think that's very ridiculous. I think it's pathetic. I think it's one of those things where we can talk about how our government does this. We can talk about how the citizens of America do this. We can talk about how the world does this, where they want to piggyback on a big issue to play like their issue is the main one. We know there's a very specific one that we know of. It's ready? Flat Earth. Flat Earth, and this is my experience, Flat Earth grabs on to all the conspiracies that you could think of, and it puts it in a nice, easy tote called Flat Earth. It makes it easier to navigate. So when you want to say, hey, everything's fucked up, I'm a flat earther, and anytime a topic comes out, you just pull that out of the bag. 9/11, boom, got it. Sandy Hook, boom, got it. Vegas, bam, got it. I mean, there's all these aspects of situations, rather, where you see this. Black Lives Matter turned into All Lives Matter, turned into LGBTQ Lives Matter, turned into Trans Lives Matter. Like all these situations that have relevance, right? None of the things I've listed at all don't have any relevance. It's just that they decided, rather than promote their own relevance and information and get the ball rolling, they all kind of they're all running along, and it's the train comes and they all just jump on. To me, it's disingenuous, because it either does one of two things. It either takes away from the bigger issue, or it takes away from your issue. Either way, I don't see the upside in it. Example, perfect. Defund the cops. Let's look at it from the real standpoint of this. Is it get rid of cops? Or is it don't let them have all the wonderful things the military has? Or is it we don't need as many? Or is it, do they need more accountability? Because accountability has nothing to do with the funding. They need more background checks. They need more mental health support. Maybe they just need less responsibility. I mean, these are the things that I was starting to think about when it came up the other day, through the week, through the all the days, and you get into here yesterday, Monday, Tuesday. It made me really think about what this defunding really fucking means. What's up, Carl? I see you in the chat. If I wanted to understand what it is, you would go out and look to see what it is. The first thing I did was go onto YouTube, our beautiful savior of all information, and typed in, what is defunding the police movement? And what I got exactly what I thought I would get. Ready? 100 different what I think defunding the police means. So I went through most of them and I picked the best. When I say I picked the best, I picked the ones that had the least agenda movement in it, while at the same time having relevant information about the topic. So I do want to play these. We'll do it now since we have no one on this panel right now. Panel's open, everyone, if you want to join. The topic will basically be this. But again, if you want to go into something else, I have the skills. I can always get it right back into it. But the reality of it is I think this is a pretty important topic to talk about, and I have no problem ranting about it. But I do want to play these, a couple of these videos that I found. None of these videos are my view, but things I use to create my opinion and view on these things. So because there are going to be some stuff in here that I disagree with ultimately. Like I said, I have watched these. There's a lot of things I disagree with. There's a lot of things that I agree with. And at the same time, there's a lot of things that I was just able to use as information just to start, taking my small notes and starting to build an idea of what this is, rather than an event happens tomorrow, we all want this to happen, right? I'm going down the path that I think should have been done 2, 3, 4 years ago, specifically defunding police as this movement, not the whole worldwide, or not whole U.S. history, because I also have gone into that, and I understand that there's a lot of negative that comes with what the police force is here in America specifically, because realistically, the United States police force was never the first. There was always been some type of protection and or police force, military, something like that. But yeah, that's, to me, is another topic, another time. But more importantly, let's go through these videos real quick, and it'll kind of help break down the topic so that we can actually discuss what's relevant and what's not. I think I had this ready to go. Here we
go. You've seen the signs and you've heard the chants. Now it's time to learn what it means. Defund the police. Initially, it sounds like a wild idea. So to understand it better, I talked with David Stovall, a Black Studies and Criminology law professor at the University of Illinois at Chicago.
So when we talk about defunding the police, the issue is how can those resources be used to do other things than fund that particular institution?
All right, so what exactly does that mean?
It's really around taking some funds from that space and then putting them in other places to address issues and concerns that people have expressed.
That means things like education, affordable housing, and healthcare could get a lot more money. But Chicago is a huge city, so is something like this even possible? Dr. Stovall says yes, especially when it comes to police presence in schools.
Minneapolis has taken their police department out of the school system. San Jose, California, Portland, Oregon, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. These are real examples of what can be done. So it's not just this thing that's coming out the ether.
The money that would have gone to a police department contract could instead be used for school counselors, psychologists, and restorative justice programs.
Policing isn't about crime prevention. It's actually about responding to crime after the fact. So if you think about shifting that to saying, well, what if we can actually be in spaces where we can address an issue before it escalates?
For most people, defund the police doesn't mean getting rid of law enforcement. It's really about the redistribution of money to the programs and places that need it.
The push to fight violent crime in America's cities getting the attention of the president this week.
All right, that was the first one. It kind of segued into the second one. The one we just watched, that one to me is probably one of the most important ones to watch. For one reason, it goes along with what I was trying to say earlier. When groups, better yet, when a situation happens, example, George Floyd. What's up, Real? How you doing? Welcome. George Floyd. Tragic situation. Cops fucking murdered the man. What ended up happening, what came from that is defund the police. Think about this for a second. One situation happens. Other situations that are going on jump on like a backpack to something and claim this is what needs to be done to solve this problem. Defunding the police does not stop cops from murdering people. Defunding the police does not stop dumb people from doing dumb shit as cops. What it does do, though, is it does reduce the police forces, because there are situations where police forces did defund. They fired people basically because they couldn't fucking pay them. Because earlier, one of the situations, or the other day when me and Tex were talking, one thing she had brought up was that these cops are buying tanks and buying military style stuff. And yes, yeah, they are. Absolutely. We went into more detail on exactly how that happens. I think Blue really helped us out with that, with the explaining that, they do donate. They do have to pay for upkeeping. They do, the police forces do have to pay for the upkeeping. And that's where the budget really is coming from. But here's the other reality of it. They get certain amount of money. And when America is crying to defund, what ends up happening is they are these smaller forces, the ones that don't have tanks, the ones that don't even have fucking SWAT teams, so that they kind of need a little bit extra help. They ended up having to fire people or transfer them to other places. Now, here's where the problem I see started, because now you're shorthanded. And I know one thing is for a fact, and I think anyone can agree. When cops, what we have noticed, we all see this. When cops are shorthanded, that starts breeding the me versus them. Cops thinking they have to protect their own rather than protect and serve. Again, does defunding stop cops who have a chip on their shoulder? No, because it also affects the cops that are there for a good reason. It also affects cops that are needing these military style weapons because they don't have a SWAT team. And again, it doesn't mean, I agree, they don't need fucking tanks. I get that there is a lot of disconnect in situations where they are buying things that they don't really need. But at the same time, there are situations where, again, what if they do need them? We have crazy people. We know that. I mean, stop playing. There are situations where just the average Beretta is not going to solve the problem. My opinion. But at the same time, let's look at this realistically. And this is the one big point. There's a lot of big points I wanted to bring up about this. I don't want to blow the wads, just my whole thoughts in the first second of it. So what's up, Shawn? Let me get you in here real quick. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Marvelous. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's another beautiful day out, and we get to enjoy some streaming. So let's get on with it, right?
Yep, absolutely. So I like what Blue put in the chat, because this is a realistic. And I'm going to say this, Blue, it's not directed at you, and I'm going to fix it the second after I say it. Blue, there's a lot of police forces with fucking tanks. Haven't you seen them? They're all fucking armored up. If they can take bullets and small artillery, a grenade can't even blow them up. Yeah, you're right. Those aren't real tanks. Even a mobile transporter with a cannon on it is not really a tank like you're thinking. It is a transport. It means that a lot of guys can go in it and they're protected from armory. And there's this thing that it makes it so they can shoot like big ass artillery rounds. But guess what? They don't do that. Even the armored vehicles that SWAT uses, those aren't locked and loaded with fucking artillery rounds. Just so you know, they are literally using the best armored vehicle they can. They don't use, like, the best they use the cannon part for, bashing indoors, taking out a wall maybe if they need to, but that thing is a battering ram. It is no longer a fucking cannon as far as the police are concerned. If I'm wrong, please show me one of those artillery troop transporters shooting a cannon round during a SWAT mission or some shit. But yeah, they're not they're not bringing in fucking tanks. Blue said some forces have armored vehicles. What police force has tanks, as in M1, M2, or M3? And I will say none. None at all. But yeah, that's what's up.
Well, I was just gonna say, they may not be able to, they may not have tanks, but us as Americans, we can actually buy a tank.
Right? Yeah, in fact, here in Texas, you can buy a tank and be regulated to buy artillery rounds for it and fire it. But hey, the police force, they're not allowed to have tanks. Though. Fuck that. Why? I mean, what happens if some Joe Schmo steals a tank and wait, that happened in California. Crazy how that works. Again, yeah, but at the same time, what does defund? Shawn, I want to ask you this question. What does defund the police mean to you? Not whether they should do it or not, but when you hear defund the police, what is your first thought on what it means?
Well, I'm going to preface this a little bit. When I first heard of it, I thought the initial thought, which was, basically defund all the police departments, right? And then just like what you did, you went on YouTube, you started investigating it and figuring out that they were talking about, allocating resources that they've been putting towards strictly towards the police department and more equipment and things like that, and instead putting that towards the human aspect of it, towards the mental health aspects and like you said, affordable housing, reach out programs and stuff like that. That's what I think of when I hear it.
Good morning, Tex.
Good morning.
So, have you heard any of this yet? What we've been talking about?
Well, I have been running ragged.
Okay, so we are absolutely going to dive into this defund thing.
Dive on.
So I hope. So you said you were doing homework. And
I did a little looking.
So did I. I told you I didn't, but I did. I definitely did.
Oh, I figured you would.
So we basically have just covered the mainstream of what defunding is, allocating money. I think you talked about the last stream, allocating money to things that it's better needed for, but not so much get rid of the cops, right?
Right. A lot of the articles, the peer review articles that I've read, don't want a full disbanding of the police task force. It's more or less that they want legislation to be capable of taking excess funding from police task force to use for other community services. Because the way that legislation works right now, if a federal mandate is for police usage only, if they have an excess of it, they can't transfer that to another department. There's just no connectivity with them budget wise. It would take a little bit more extra effort to be able to remove that specific federal mandate and turn it into something that is more umbrellaed for all social services.
Do you think all around, and this is a general question, so it's kind of I'm not going to pin you to any answer. Do you think
you can pin me to whatever you want, Shawn?
Thank you. Would you say that police in the United States have everything they need to be an effective police force, in a good sense, right? What we expect out of a cop. Do you think they have everything?
Absolutely not. No, I think that the police officers have a lot of issues with having the resources that they need, which is, you know, another reason for the defunding activism that we have, right? When the rhetoric of the Black-led defunding police organizations came out and was really approached head on in like 2020 or so, maybe later C4. When they very first started this form of activism, right, the intention was never to remove everything that the police have from them. The intention was to remove the federal oversight of municipality police forces. But there is a lot of stuff that needs to be done, and if we were to take some of that funding and put it into a community program, then that in turn can help police officers by funding programs that prioritize de-escalation tactics, that prioritize mental health awareness, that prioritize, you know, having licensed psychiatrists or therapists or individuals that are licensed social workers dealing with the homeless, as opposed to putting more and more burden on the police task force. Because right now the police are spread so thin in their area of jurisdiction that it's causing a lot of issue, right? One thing that comes to mind is that little girl back in 2016, I want to say, where the cop had been on 2 homicide cases prior to this noise complaint call at this public pool, and he just was not in the right mental state to be dealing with something so minuscule comparative to the 2 previous calls that he had been on in this double 15-hour shift that he was pulling. And it ended badly. He ended up grabbing the little girl by her braids and slamming her down on the bricks. 16-year-old little girl. But there was a lot of argument around what put him in that mental state. And it really does boil down to, like, at the end of the day, cops are human. Cops are infallible. And we cannot expect cops to be able to be perfect when we are putting such undue burden on their task force as it is. There's a lot of stuff that the police deal with that they should not deal with, that they do not have the schooling to deal with, or the mental state, right?
Okay. Well, so with that said, I want to ask you a question then.
Okay.
Why are we saying defund the police? Shouldn't we say we should be throwing a lot more money at them so that they can, rather than take their money and allocate it to other things, we should be giving them money so that it can go to their mental health support. It can go to their training for situations. It can go to having a task force that responds to crimes, having a task force and a schooling and et cetera, and have the manpower, you know, not just have 2 or 3 negotiators, have 100 per force, you know. That would take a lot more money. Defunding takes away from all those ideas of what actually needs to be done. My question now is this, and I'll let you finish, but I got to ask this question now. What is do you think the George Floyd fill in the blank cop, you know, doing something stupid, right? We just saw a video of that like a week ago, of that lady with the boiling water and the cop murdering her. Do you think any of those things are actually even part of we need to defund the police?
It would definitely, yes. Short answer is yes. They absolutely have part of it to do with. Most of the peer review articles that I have, the advocacy for the defunding of police did not happen until after Breonna Taylor specifically. George Floyd was a big aspect of the movement, but Breonna Taylor really was, you know, the straw that broke the camel's back, because that poor woman was doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. She was in her house.
Let me ask you this real quick. Let me ask you this real quick. What does that have to do with the money should go to schooling, housing, healthcare?
Quite a lot. Quite a lot. It has quite a lot to do with it. If we had allocated money to having mandated de-escalation, continued education courses for the police officers, neither George Floyd or Breonna Taylor would have likely occurred. And if they had occurred, at least then there could have been some form of CYA for these police officers. But as it stands right now, there is a huge issue with unnecessary force being taken. That's the main thing, right? But I do want to
hang on one sec. What's up, MC Nemesis?
Hello, thank you for having me.
Just wanted to get a voice check out of you real quick.
Oh yeah,
welcome.
Yes, I would be what you would consider, I guess, a libertarian.
Yeah, we're gonna
When
let
it
Tex
comes
finish,
to-
and I'll let you get. I'm gonna let Tex get the rest of her thing out, and then I'm gonna let you in. I just wanted to get you in on the stage real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, just give her 1 sec. She'll finish up real quick.
Yeah, I'll try to. So I do want to say this though. Defund the police is a buzzword. It's a buzzword. It's work-like. It's something to get the rhetoric going so that we can actually discuss things. If I ask you to finish the phrase, remember the Alamo, what are you going to say, Shawn?
I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. Finish it.
You're just going to say, remember the Alamo, right? Because that's the
Okay.
buzzword. But the true phrase is
okay.
remember the Alamo, remember Goliath. And it's the same concept
Okay.
here. It's defund the police to refund the police properly, right? And it really does draw back to, should we allow federal institutions to circumvent our state rights? And should we allow the state to circumvent the rights of the municipality? Because in a perfect form of federalism, it would be reversed, right? The small city has more credence than the state, which has more credence than the government. Because the legislation that is happening in the city is the legislation that is going to directly affect the people in that city. So their needs should be represented through city legislation, then state, then federal. And when you have private city police forces that are prioritizing federal issues, federal laws, and federal legislation, are they really doing the service that they need to the community, or are they doing service to the overreach of the federal government?
Yes, I think that's a good question. What were you going to say, Nemesis? Go ahead.
Yeah, I completely agree. I believe that we have to search for the goodness within ourselves, and that it's a inward spiritual journey. And I don't think that having the police has anything to do with people's individual. Like, if we can get everybody on a spiritual journey on the right way, there won't be much crime. No need for the police.
I think that in a perfect world, that would work. The issue I'm having with this is, and what you said, Tex, specifically, is how do I say this? Does using defund the police as a, as a shocker, right? It's a trigger word, trigger phrase. Isn't it to the detriment of the police? And then here's the best part. Don't you think defund the police for mental health, for schooling, for fill in the blanks? Because I'm sure there's a lot more things we can allocate.
How are you going to fund them? She mentioned refunding them. How are you going to have the funds to refund them?
Well, that's when you just ask for more money.
Yeah. So let me, if I can elaborate a little bit further on this, right? The main nuance of the defund the police rhetoric is the removal of federal discounts for military grade equipment to go to these city police officers.
Like what?
And Hold on, dude. Chill.
Well, I mean, I just want to be specific on what
Like
you're.
tanks, like what we were
Yeah, we
saying
do need some
yesterday, which if you hadn't
context here.
interrupted me, you would have heard me say, like the conversation that we had the other day when we were discussing tanks and helicopters and these other things that are donated or given at heavy discount from the military to these civilian police task forces.
Yeah, but you and I didn't have that conversation. That's why I was asking.
No, not
she was talking to me.
that was Shawn was being snarky and I had to put him in his place.
But you didn't though, because we
But
talked
my
about.
question to you is, how are you going to refund them? You're dodging the question. How are you going to fund them?
How are we going to fund them? Is we're going to fund them by allocating state costs and state budgets.
More taxes,
so that
I suspect.
Yes.
We're already taxed to shit. How are you going to sit here and say, "Oh, we're going to get more taxed"?
What gives you the right to collect these taxes?
And then in the same breath say, "Well, we shouldn't defund them. We shouldn't defund them because
like I said, I'm libertarian. What gives you the right? What gives you the right?
Hang on. Wait.
Before 1913, there was no.
Hang on. Hey, wait. Hang on. Stop.
Whoa.
Hang on.
It's
Hang on.
not
Stop.
a me
Hang on. Stop. Tex. Nemesis. We don't do that here. You're gonna let everyone get everything out, and then when she's done, after responding to your question, then she's gonna give you time to talk. But we can't play the cutting off game. Okay, there we go. Go ahead and respond, or I'm not sure where we're at.
I don't even know what the fuck I'm responding to at this point.
Yeah.
The question that I asked, I said, how are you going to fund them? And then you got off track. You went on a ramble about something off topic.
Okay, it's very simple.
No, I did not.
And then I tried to redirect her back to the original topic.
No, you didn't let me
she answered.
finish.
Hang on, Tex. She answered it, and the simple answer is raise taxes. There's no situation where the government has shown any care of whether or not they give a fuck if we want taxes raised or not. They'll just do it. Whether or not she believes she has the right for that to happen is regardless. They don't give a fuck. They'd raise taxes regardless. So if it came to a situation of defunding them so that they are basically accountable for what they actually have in need, then at that point, you can actually put it in a situation where you can go, okay, well, they actually need this much and they don't need this much. So then maybe there's extra money to go other places. I may not even agree with her, but I do know she answered your fucking question for a fact.
No, she fucking didn't.
Okay, well, I did, and I know she said what I said, so she did answer it.
It's going over your head. Okay. How are you going? Well, how are you going to fund them? You taxes is theft. Okay. You're going to steal from people to put on the hands of the military. That's what you're doing.
I want you to understand something. I'm not a fucking lawmaker. I don't decide what taxes are raised and what taxes are lowered.
I don't give a fuck if you're a goddamn lawmaker, bitch.
So when you
all right.
Yeah. You can suck a dick with that shit. So I'm going to make this very fucking clear, asshole. When a fucking law and a taxes and all these shit happen, I don't want that shit happen. I don't want my taxes raised. But guess the fuck what? That's exactly how that shit fucking works. When you fucking defund anything, the next fucking year, you actually look back and you go, what do they actually fucking need? So we can allocate the actual money they fucking need. That's just how it fucking works. I understand, Nemesis, that you're on this whole kick of we shouldn't have taxes. No one should pay taxes. It's bullshit. They're stealing from us. I get it. But we're talking reality of what's happening right the fuck now. Not this bullshit thing you're doing where you act like me and Tex here are the ones fucking doing it.
Yeah, you act like I'm holding the gun to your fucking head and saying, give me your pocket money, bitch.
What the fuck?
That's not what I'm saying. I live in a state that doesn't even pay property taxes.
This is ridiculous. Look, he's sitting shit. Like, this is the mindset of someone who doesn't understand what a conversation about a topic is. So he literally thinks that we're going, hey, Nemesis, give us your fucking money because we want to raise taxes. That's not how it fucking works. We're having a conversation about it. You're having it as if you're talking to someone who is raising it themselves. Get a grip, man. Fucking drink some coffee, smoke a fucking bowl. But Jesus Christ, that's the reason these things can't get solved, because people like you want to play the fucking blame game. Okay. Back to the fun part.
Okay.
Making Tex wrong. Okay. I have a question
If you're not going to argue
about
in
this.
good faith, I'm not going to argue with you, you jerk. You sore jerk. And I say sore because I can't call you a sore winner or a sore loser because you're shit with both.
Yeah, that was crap. That it was like weird. Don't be so angry. Okay, so
Yeah, so I wanted to read this to you.
yes.
Because I think that it does kind of explain a little bit better, so you can understand where I'm coming from on this. Let me find it again. One moment. Yeah, so so this is an excerpt from a peer review article. I can post it in chat later, but essentially it says several cities who received relief funds during 2019 and 2020 because of the great fuckery spent a portion of them on policing, such as Los Angeles, which increased the police budget by 3% after the federal aid, and New York, which used $200 million of its relief funds for additional police spending. So there is instances where you're getting federal relief packages, and that excess income is being given to the police as necessary, which I think is a great tactic to use, right? Because they do go on to say any additional issue for defund activists is how to ensure that funds are reallocated to their own ends. The $150 million reallocated to Los Angeles, for example, has been spent primarily on payback for police or back pay for the police. And some proposals would spend it on sidewalk repairs, tree trimming, and other maintenance projects. A lot of people, they hear defund and they latch onto it and they go, oh, that sounds scary. I don't like that. We need the cops. You know, next time somebody breaks into your house, call a meth head instead of the cops if you want to defund the police, right? Which I would absolutely call a meth head. You give them $500 and a knife, no questions asked, right? But the biggest issue and the biggest thing that they're rallying for is that legislation be changed so that when you're getting this funding, it is not so strict that it's use it or lose it for that one department. It can be use it, reallocate it, save it, donate it, whatever, but it can be used across the city as opposed to saying, okay, the city's beautification project for their highways in town get 10% of this specific budget in this specific terminology, whereas the police get it in this specific budget with this specific terminology. And then you get really pedantic, and that's where you get your increase of taxes, right? Because if you're putting everything in highly segmented fucking budgets and those excess profits or excess donations can't be allocated for other services within the city, you're taxing more people in the long run doing it that way.
Okay. Everything you just said sounds really good, and in the aspect of what they need and the money and the extra stuff for a long-term issue. But here's the issue with what we are found with, and here's what mainstream has done. Because defund is a trigger word, or trigger quote, because not very many people look into what defund is, right? Not many people go hear TexLex say defund the police and go, TexLex, let's do a live stream, sit down and really hear what you're saying, so that when I listen to a YouTube video that says get rid of all cops, I don't assume
right
you're in that camp. So what ends up happening is, rather than them sit back and go, where can this money better go? Primarily helping, the police force themselves be better allocated for situations and what they're supposed to do. And vice versa to anything else that the extra money there would then go to. What ends up happening is a police force, a governor or a mayor or city leader, regardless, any of these guys that do make these decisions, what they end up doing is they get pressure to do something now. And if anyone understands, if you are having this conversation right now today in July 31st. That wouldn't nothing that we would be talking about in stance of but funding would nothing would happen until next year, probably a few months into next year. But when you have all the public outcry and you have the mainstream fucking hyping it up, what ends up happening is these police forces end up just firing people to show that their budget is going to start getting lower because they're sick of getting yelled at that they're getting too much money.
Right.
So what they do is they fire people or they move them to other police forces. There is a funnel effect. This happens for everything. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter the topic. Up, down, it goes up, down, around. It doesn't matter. And one of the things that has happened in certain places is an uptick in crime. An uptick in crime. Police officers are shorthanded. What you end up seeing when police officers are shorthanded is more brutality. You start seeing less crimes being investigated properly because they're shorthanded. So the main issue I see is that the mainstream pushes this narrative. People run with this narrative, and then they force government officials to do things that are unrational to what really needs to happen. Right now, here's the big one. I've been waiting this whole time to say this, Tex. Do you know what passing the buck is?
What do you mean?
So in a situation like this, it'd be like, I want to make ceramics. I want to sell ceramics.
Yeah. Okay.
But okay, so basically I find a way to make this product less so I can sell it for more. You pass the buck. Okay, so what if this is the situation? What if it's not the police forces need to be defunded, need to get any less money at all? And what really needs to happen is the government, federal and state, primarily state. What if they don't want to lose money? What if they want to make sure the mainstream and us don't go, wait, defund government? Because here's the thing, ready? Here's the thing. If you say defund the cops, you put them in a situation where you question what they need. And when they don't have it, they need it. And then they won't get it because the funding's not there. And then they go through a battle trying to get those things, whether it's vests, enough armory, because I'm sorry, motherfuckers, if you don't think cops need assault rifles, you've lost your fucking minds. There are criminals that have much bigger.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what ends up happening is you then have to restructure your police force, and that is the detriment of your community. When in reality, what needs to happen, hear me out, is we defund government, because then what happens is that money, the real money that is actually allocated to not just the police force, but healthcare, mental health, et cetera, housing, it does not matter. Because that's the issue. That's what's actually happening, motherfuckers. Understand this.
I don't know if you think I'm going to disagree with you, but I don't.
Okay. But that's the biggest issue. But that is literally the issue that's happening, that somehow the governments, state and federal, have successfully passed the buck. Rather than it's government needs to be more accountable for what they spend the money on. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there should be zero underfunded programs. The motherfucking America is the richest motherfuckers. We have trillions of motherfucking dollars to send across the seas, but we got issues. Okay. Ooh, hang on. Let me breathe. Okay. All that the government is doing is passing the buck. We don't want to lose funding. We don't want to lose our money. So let's make it so that someone else has to lose that money. Let's blame someone else for what's going on. That's what we need to be talking about. We need to talk about not defund police. Defund police just disrupts communities. We need to defund.
I think that when people hear it, people think that they're saying, go to the police station right now and put locks on the door and tell the cops to get fucked. And that is not the case. Nobody is asking for an overnight disbandment of police forces.
Oh, really?
That is not
Okay.
not
I'm
that is
happy.
not what's occurring. If
Perfect.
you
Hey,
show me
good
something on
segue.
fucking
Good segue.
ABC,
No.
I
Hey,
do not want to hear it.
you're gonna hear it. You're gonna hear it because what these two motherfuckers on
So
my
before
screen
you
say
play it then,
has
okay,
nothing to do
before
with
you
this.
play it then,
Yes.
let me address this because Blue posted this, right? He said,
Yes, sir.
don't use clickbait style titles for programs. Act like you're an adult and say it straight up. You act like the individuals that are asking for the reforms are the ones that are making the titles. I think this is really kind of like a snarky comment.
But they're running with those titles.
Hold on. Considering the fact that we have all agreed in the past that media is heavily propaganda, that there is a lot of misconstruing. I have watched Fox News, I have watched Young Turks, and in the same breath, you can see the propaganda on both ends. So I don't think this is an issue with the individuals calling for reform. I think this is a larger issue with media in general. That is what I wanted to say about that comment.
Okay. Yeah. Again, I think I don't blame the media. Oh no, wait. I blame the media. But it's not the media who came up with this. Because the media would get just as much support and entertainment and views and ad revenue saying, why not defund the government?
Well, we should. Yeah, we absolutely should defund the government, especially the federal government.
Because isn't that what?
Go ahead.
Shouldn't that be what we're talking about?
Sure,
Like,
if you want to talk about that, we could talk about that. That's a different discussion.
No, it's not.
Entirely.
It's not.
It is.
It's not. No, it's not.
It is,
It is
two
what we're
separate scenarios.
Okay.
Are you want to deal with it on a small level or deal with it on a large level, right?
Well, I would, yeah. Well, I look at defund the police as passing the buck. Again, I don't think okay. So if you have 4 pots, right? And you have money in all 4, and all those things are allocated to go to something, right? Now, I'm the big bank. I'm the one who put that money in. Now I've said, I want you 4 to do what you have to do with the money you have. And basically what you're saying is take money from one of those 4 to make the other ones better. So what ends up really happening is down the road, you then have to go back and take from one of those 3 to help the one that you fucking defunded a long time ago. And then what ends up happening is it's exactly what happens. That's what we've been doing for decades. We've been passing the buck.
Yeah, we
exactly what happens.
Yes, we passed the buck in certain aspects, but I wouldn't say that it's later on down the road. You got to pull. It's not a matter of like, okay, I'm going to try to use this fucking mortgage I pulled out to pay for my car payment. No, you wouldn't do that. You'd go apply for a personal loan, right? So why are we stipulating to individuals or to these federal mandates that this money can only be used for this circumstance and this circumstance only, and anything left over in that budget, you lose it? Why is that the scenario? If you as an individual go to a bank and you get a personal loan, they're not going to tell you, okay, use what you need and then give us back the rest of the fucking money.
Okay, here's why. Ethically, that is exactly how it should be. Ethically, the police force should get, and these aren't good numbers, people. These are just example numbers. If I'm the government and I say, police force, how much do you need? And the police force says, we need 100,000 a year. And I say, what is that 100,000 for? They then have to come up with what the $100,000 for. Now, if the next year they only need 40,000, and that is only compared to what they need, then the way it should be ethically is that the following year they report they need less. and less and less until they have what they need, or they need more because things start breaking. It's going to be a fluctuation, but it should be a very visible thing because that's the reality. But what happens is this: if I say I need 100,000, the next year I need 40,000, and there are other projects, other agencies that need money, and then something pops up and they need more money, and then I need more money, then I then have to start fighting with that other agency about who needs the money more. So what ends up happening is now we're in this big weird practice where we buffer. Yeah. Well, I got to make sure that doesn't happen, and we got to make sure that we have emergency money. So we got to figure out how to get that emergency money, and that is basically just fudging numbers. But the realization of that is that government, the ones who allocate the money, are the ones that are supposed to make sure that doesn't happen. When they get backed in the corner,
where's the auditing?
Yeah, exactly. When they get backed in the corner, they go, "Uh-oh, make them do it. Let's take the focus off us." Because I'm telling you right now, they get money. Government officials make money. Oh, yeah, government officials have investments. They're invested in a lot of these things, special interests and shit. A lot of people talk about how they're not allowed to profit on companies and shit while they're in offices and shit. You're right. They're not allowed to make $1 million and use that money while they're in office.
Not in the state of Texas.
Well, in most of the United States, that's how it works. And then
what's crazy? I'm sorry, Shawn, but I need to break this down for you because I need you to understand how back-asswards Texas is, right? Because Texas has citizen legislation, so they only meet every 2 years for 140 days. So they have other jobs outside of being a state legislator. My representative, Doc Anderson, he's a veterinarian, but a large portion of citizen legislators here in the here in Texas are lawyers full time. That's their job. That's their actual job.
So they meet how often a year?
140 days every other year.
And
we're bicameral, biannual legislation.
Now, this is a great one. How much do they get paid for that?
They get paid $7,520
total.
So there's no incentive to do legislation unless you're being paid by a special interest group, which is why a lot of lawyers are in legislation here in Texas.
So wait, so what you just told me is they get paid dog shit by the government. So the government allows them to
take on special interest groups to help pay for their campaign.
And so basically they're for hire.
Mm-hmm. Lawyers for hire.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, this goes along with this is why I won the conversation, Tex. They are passing the buck. They are literally just going, we don't want to be blamed for this. Let them deal with it. Because again, I'm going to play this clip now. You diverted long enough for it not to have been played when I wanted it to, but it's still fine. Because this is an example of what public outcry does.
In his budget proposal, requested a more than $30 billion increase in funds to help police departments nationwide.
And that got us wondering what is happening to cities that a few years ago reduced traditional police funding in response to the murder of George Floyd. Joe St. George takes an in-depth look.
A lot of cities talked about defunding the police. You guys actually did it.
We did, yeah.
Let's go for a walk, shall we, with City Councilman Jack Hansen. He doesn't represent you, but he does represent Burlington, Vermont. I get it. This isn't where you live, but it can give your town unique perspective on how the police funding debate in our country is going. After the police protests and outcry in 2020, Jack and other city leaders here told police they needed to cut around 30 positions, a 30% cut.
As people would leave, we wouldn't replace them.
2 years later, how's it going?
It's been mixed.
Opinions now vary. The police chief told me officers have either retired or decided to work elsewhere. Recruitment has been challenging. Now, only 60 officers are able to respond to calls. That's around 20 short of what independent studies and even many city councilmen W.A.T.
Gun incidents are up, burglaries.
Kelly Devine runs the business association here and says a lack of police has resulted in a rise in unsolved petty theft and vandalism, which impacts business.
This downtown needs to be for everybody. It needs to be for families, young children.
So is defunding still happening?
We got into a situation where we just didn't have enough public safety response.
Jack, who voted to defund the police 2 years ago, actually voted in recent months to give $800,000 worth of retention and sign-on bonuses to officers. There's a separate effort to create more police positions, too. This shift is happening around the country. New York City voted to cut funding too in 2020. 2 years later, it has increased following a spike in violent crime. In Minneapolis, there were initial cuts. Now, more funding. In Baltimore, a similar story. As a sign of how much has changed, President Biden this week put a $30 billion increase in police funding in his budget.
Ultimately, I think we are moving in the right direction.
Back in Burlington, Jack doesn't want you to think the defund movement was a complete failure. Programs to help the mentally ill got improved nationwide, and police budgets are now better scrutinized.
A huge change was made in a short amount of time.
In Burlington, Vermont, I'm Joe St. George.
You heard what he said there at the very, very end, where he said too many things got changed in such a short period of time. That is the issue. That is the concern, and I think that is a valid concern with the rhetoric against the defunding the police movement. And I don't necessarily disagree with that concept either, right? I am definitely one of those people. Texas has self-defense written out very specifically, where it's equal or as much force as necessary to stop one's attacker. I think the same can be translated into police task force, right? If you were a huge town in Houston, like something like that, right? Obviously, you're going to need more money. Obviously, it's not going to be a good idea to cut your police staff by 30%. But they very specifically said petty thefts and vandalism. So those to me, yeah, they're crimes. They're not fun. They're not good crimes. Don't do crime. But on the grand scheme of things, that is not too terrible, right? Yeah, sure, they probably should have made it a point to try to keep themselves staffed. They probably did do it a little too quickly, and they jumped the gun. But I personally am not claiming that we should do that, that we should just, all right, here it is, end of the day, cut them, lock the door. That's not what I'm saying.
What's up, Ron? How you doing? Welcome to the panel.
Hi.
Hello, Ron.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yep. Do you have a view on the topic?
Well, kind of like they like these, yeah, the Democrats, they want crime rampant and stuff. Like they got the homelessness issue. You look at these Democratic cities and they're full of crime. They've legalized crime and it's all over. So it's really just the destruction of America. They're dumbing people down. They're not arresting people. You know, there's a lot to it, and I've been trying to figure it out for a while, and I got some ideas, but it's hard to
Ron,
talk
can
about.
I- Can I ask you some clarifying questions then, love? Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, so you said they're legalizing crime. Can you tell me specifically what you mean by that? Are you talking like they're allowing for quote unquote victimless crimes to occur, like decriminalizing marijuana and discontinuing the war on drugs? Or are you talking more like letting previous offenders out of prison due to like overpopulation? Or kind of elaborate on that for me. What do you mean by they're legalizing crime?
Well, as far as like the marijuana, that's kind of a victimless crime. So it's not it seems like they're legalizing more crimes with victims, like because the marijuana issue, that's not really a big deal. But on top of that, they got fentanyl. Like, okay, you can't. There's more. They're banning the sale of raw milk, and if you want to sell raw milk, that's illegal. You'll get busted. But if people sell fentanyl on the street, they're not really doing a whole lot to stop that.
Are you
You know,
talking about the fact that fentanyl is being laced in everything, or are you talking about like methadone clinics where they're giving out methadone to previous addicts?
well, no, not the methadone, but just that there's so much fentanyl in the streets, and um, it seems like they could do more to prevent that, but it's like they don't want to or something.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
stuff like that.
So, yeah, I think that is, again, that goes back to a government issue, right, Shawn, where it's a lack of legislation because this fentanyl is coming from the hospitals. The fentanyl is coming from pharmaceutical companies. There needs to be some form of legislation that causes severe fines to these companies that are allowing this fentanyl to get on the streets. There needs to be a better safety concern in that. And it needs to affect the corporations, not the people. I think the price you pay for doing business in America is to take credence in public opinion.
I don't even think the cops have anything to do with the fentanyl thing
No.
at all. That's the other thing. I'm pretty sure most of us understand that cops aren't there to protect. They're there to respond.
Yeah.
Straight up. I was going to bring up something that you had said earlier, Ron, about democratic states with crime. I grew up in California. I have recently moved to Texas. I've been here for a few years now. I would say this Republican state has the most crime I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
I would say that the gun laws are too lackadaisy. I would say there is rampant crime in all states, and I personally don't think it's ever going to be a Democrat did it, Republican did it. I think both sides have their shit, their shadiness, their make believe we're here for the people, when in reality they're very narcissistic and selfish on how they really view things. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there are things I do agree with. I don't agree with sanctuary cities moving homeless people out of shelters so that they can house immigrants. I think that is fucking ridiculous. I think spending trillions of dollars on foreign aid is fucking ridiculous. The problem is that yes, currently the Democratic parties are ahead of the foreign aid spending. The issue is that I can show you examples of Democrats that give out trillions of dollars to other countries for their aid and their what do you call it, stability. And so again, for me personally, I don't like talking about it from whose side it is, because both sides are fucking guilty of it. Both sides, big time. I can, for every Democratic state that is shit, I can give you a Republican state that is even shittier.
Well, when we start talking about drugs, this goes back to the '80s when the war on drugs started. We poured a bunch of money into the war on drugs, and not just in the United States. This led into other countries as well, and attempting to take the fight there, because those were supposedly where all the drugs were coming from, and if you look through some of the old videos and stuff, you'll see where they have like piles of marijuana where they were burning that. The reporters and stuff are all getting high out there, standing there watching it, reporting on it. But the the war on drugs it's something that you're told is a war. Just like you're told it's a problem. Well, it is a problem, but is it a problem of the drugs, or is it a problem of the stigma behind it, and how do we get these people away from that? Because it's not somebody from another country that's bringing this in. These are the Americans selling this to Americans. So there's inherently an issue there, where one, you have somebody that needs to sell this to make money, and two, you have somebody that has the time and the energy to put into spending, doing the drugs. So I think there's more that we can look at other than just throw money at it or throw resources at it to reduce the amount that's coming into the country or something like that. I think there needs to be a shift towards the mental health aspect of it, where the depressive nature of our society is putting pressure on these people to want to escape.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, again, it goes back to legislation, right? At the end of the day, that's the big argument here is the legislation failing us at any level, at the city level, at the state level, at the federal level? The answer is yes. Legislation is failing us. The war on drugs is one of the stupidest things I think we've done as a country personally. And this goes back to allocating resources properly. But unfortunately, there's no profit in mental health. And so that is why the federal government or state governments that want federal mandates do not pursue resources being pulled into mental health. Because for them, at least here in Texas and these other places that have federal and state prisons, the war on drugs is profitable. It's free labor. It's getting 3 hots in a cot to each soldier and a subsidy for every single one of them. And sure, yeah, a lot of them do offer prison reform programs for certain individuals, but that is still very new and very minimal comparative to the amount of incarcerated individuals that we have in our prisons, both on the state and federal level, for victimless crimes, for possession charges specifically. It doesn't matter what the drug is, marijuana, heroin. I don't give a shit what the fuck you had on you. If you were only using it and there was no effect on another person, why are you in prison? Who were you harming? Where is the morality in that legislation?
I guess what you're saying. I actually agree with that part. I wanted to argue with it, but I didn't. I couldn't figure it. Yeah, I apologize, Blue. It's not trillions, but if you look at what we are given, ultimately, it's too fucking much. Especially if the amount. Here's okay. I'll blank it out. What my issue is, the amount of the money or the amount of foreign aid given is more than what it would take to fix like homelessness in America. That's my problem. Just that one comment alone is the problem.
Absolutely. They'd rather fund these wars and people killing. It's really about depopulation. That's why I've been trying to study what's going on and everything. And, I can't, I'm only one person, so I don't have all the answers or nothing like that. But I think I've been doing more than the average person, actually trying to figure things out, because I talk to the average person and they're not trying to be intelligent or good. They're trying as hard as they can be to be evil and unintelligent. Not everybody, but it's a great. I talk to a lot of people, and there's not many people that are good or trying to be good and intelligent. They're trying as hard as they can to be evil. And so I think there's a demoralization of they want to ruin our morals and our values and then make people worship evilness or something. That's why there's a lot of trolls and stalkers. But like you were saying that they could end homelessness or do this or that, but there's another thing. Like if you look at France or something, but a while ago there was this war on farmers, and the farmers were protesting, and it's like because they know if they attack your food, that can depopulate. I was watching a thing Kamala Harris said. She said we need to focus on global warming and reducing the population or something. And that's just a clip somebody got. But, I think it's more than just depopulation. That's like dumbing down, demoralization, and depopulation. They want to attack. That's why they're more worried about if you're selling raw milk than fentanyl or whatever, because raw milk is healthy in a way. It has living organisms in it that help our immune system and stuff. But fentanyl, just kills somebody in a second. That's what they want. So
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's very odd to me because I actually did a lot of research in this. At the raw milk thing, and actually I know someone, Uber, shout out to Uber, Flat Earth. It is, from what I've heard, it is good. Obviously if you do it soon, but there are things like camel milk that are not FDA approved, so therefore you can't sell it to your community. You can't give out in large quantities. But at the same time, they could put stuff in your food, and a lot of that stuff doesn't even have to be labeled. I came across about 6-7 years ago about the FDA approving for clone meat market. So basically, they clone a chicken. They clone chickens, their eggs, the poultry, all that can go into the market. And by law, they do not have to put it on the label. No one needs to know that it ever came from any kind of cloned animal. They're allowed to do that. They don't even have to fucking tell you at all. So yeah, it is one of those things where
they want to ban.
Look at one side.
Meat.
Go ahead.
They want to ban meat. They want people to eat bugs and stuff. They're pushing that agenda. They're trying to get rid of cows.
Where are you hearing all of this, man? Because this is the first I'm hearing of it.
I would love to hear the bug one.
Well, I'll look at my Twitter and my feed. Since Elon Musk took over, my feed's full of right-wing stuff, and I'll look at that. But before Elon Musk used Twitter, I never even used it. It was just a joke to me. But once Elon Musk took, but I don't even trust Elon Musk really, because when I post on Twitter, I get no views, no subs, no nothing, and I'll check at my shadow band, and it says, yeah, I'm stuck in a spam category. And it's like, well, then that's not free speech. It's like, well, how do I get out of the spam category? I can't. So he claims it's pro free speech. I see other people with free speech, but me personally, I have none. And that's why I come on these panels, and because I'm like trapped in this little box. Nobody can hear me. So I purposely try to talk to people. And in doing so, I learn more about what's going on. I almost feel like I'm psychoanalyzing people, but I'm not, but and because I go around and talk, I get a little bigger picture of what's going on in a way, not kind of, but you said, where do I get this from? I'll follow kind of right-wing people on Twitter, and I do save. Like sometimes they'll post pictures and stuff, and I'll save them or repost them or whatever. And that's the kind of the thing I'll ask people because I'll see videos and posts, and I'll ask people online, friends and family, and I've noticed if somebody leans more right, that they'll see the same stuff I see. But if they lean more left, they're not getting the same news. They'll get like kind of the opposite or something. So I'd recommend following both sides, really. Even if you don't agree with it, at least you can see what's going on, or like what other people are talking about or whatever, even if you may, because there's things people post I don't really agree with, but I'll kind of look at it or whatever.
Oh yeah, it's definitely important to view both sources. That's what I was saying earlier. When we talk about, or people are talking about different parties and blaming different parties for different situations, I like to look at it from the side of which side is fucking up now, because they're going to. When it comes to things like, especially, and thank you, Blue, for putting that out there, because that actually is something I realized that we should have acknowledged and we should already know. China is the largest supplier of fentanyl. They're the guys that we need to cut it out. Yeah, that's actually a big deal with one of those things, because I do know for a fact that not only does this quote unquote big pharma get a lot of our stuff from China. China sends a lot of stuff to us, to just anybody. I don't want to say this because it sounds like I'm giving you away. But yeah, people buy stuff from China very easily. How to do that, I'm not telling you, but because I don't feel the need to want to tell you how to do that. But yeah, China doesn't. It has very, 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 very lackadaisical regulations on who they send and who can have. So yeah, if you want to know how fentanyl got here, it was less likely to have been through a hospital, more likely to be someone who has money, lots of fucking money, and doesn't have to worry about fucking getting in trouble.
Well,
Stuff
I
like
would still
that.
say that it would be a hospital, Sean. China is supplying the hospitals with fentanyl.
Yeah, but okay, so
China is supplying the
thing.
labs with fentanyl. China is
But
supplying
here's
the
the-
pharmacies.
But there'd be, this is how I see it. But are there? Go ahead, Sean. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, or in the cases of it coming over from Mexico, they purchase it through Mexico, and then they will have people that will travel across the U.S. border, Americans traveling across the border to pick it up, because they can set up a little thing across the border, just an address, and get it shipped there, and then they can go pick it up.
Yeah,
and that happens quite a bit.
Not even. You can walk into Mexico. You can go to a pharmacy. And when you go up to the pharmacy, it's going to be like a burrito or a taco stand. It'll show you all the medications you can get over the counter and what their price is. And you can get fentanyl up at that counter for something like 12 pesos.
Yeah, the stuff that I'm talking about is more like the chemicals to make it. Because it's like two specific chemicals that China will sell to pretty much anybody. So one of the things that should be changed in our legislation is allowing this product to be shipped to the U.S. Other than under strict regulation. And in certain instances they do that, but there's also loopholes, just like every other legislation that we have out there.
Do we do we have mandated legislation dictating that we have to do lab testing of consumer imports? Or is that not a thing?
You mean like for like food and stuff like that?
Not just food, any kind of consumer product, shampoos, cosmetics,
Oh, yes.
makeups.
There has to be.
There has
Yeah.
to be lab testing, correct?
Yeah,
So-
exactly. Remember back when they used to sell like those the little Matchbox cars and stuff like that from China, and they were all like done up with lead paint and stuff. That's part of the reason why they had to do that.
Well, then we're sucking up on that department then, because there have been instances where people will buy in bulk, like Kylie Jenner, for example. She's got a lip gloss, and I know y'all are guys, you hate this shit, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Long story short, it was super glue. Long story short, it was super glue. Okay, so China was putting super glue into these products with really nice packaging, shipping them off. They weren't being tested, and then people were putting it on their lips and super gluing their lips together.
The problem there is that it's impossible to do everything. Like if you looked up, have you seen what's it called? It's a TV show. It's for like basically
How it's made?
countries'
Yes, I'm
customs.
autistic.
It's fucking custom, man.
Customs and
Like,
Border.
Yeah.
Customs and Border, where they go through like LAX and like the southern border, El Paso and stuff, and just go through the processes where they're like, most of them are like they're finding drugs and stuff, but like, it's really cool.
I see
Like-
the Australian one of that, and it's always an Asian woman, a little old Asian woman bringing food from her home country into Australia. And they're like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah. Well, those places are like fucking warehouses. And a lot of that shit, they don't have the manpower. It's impossible.
We are at this point, we do not have the manpower to compete. Even if we wanted to domestically make everything again like we used to, at this point we would not be able to.
Well, you want to know why?
Because we're outpriced.
Because we're selfish. Because I don't want to pay that for this. You don't want to pay that for this. And if everything was made here, we would be spending money out our asses. The cell phones everyone's using, the computers you're using, times 10 the cost of it if you had to buy it from an American-made company. That's why. That's why it's not going to get fixed in that realm of things.
Yeah, it just feels like the older I get, the more I realize that morality is really for the privileged. Right? When you have the income to say, oh, I only buy American, first off, it's expensive being poor. Second off, it's expensive to be morally poor.
Oh, ew.
I think historically we can look back and say that how capitalism works. It does breed evil, right? Because the more money you have, the more money you want, and the more money you want, the more willing you are to do whatever it takes to get it.
Sounds like somebody we know. I'm not going to say names though.
All right. If you Google Bill Gates beef, it pulls it up on Google. It shows how Bill Gates talks about beef, and he's buying a bunch of farms and then switching them to his fake meat, and he's buying up all kinds of farms and stuff. And then it says he advocates for synthetic beef. Yeah.
Yep. Bill Gates, nations should shift entirely to synthetic beef.
Do you think that's why we're having all these issues with the chicken breasts and the watermelon down here, Sean?
What's that? I don't know.
Where like when people are washing their chicken breasts, it's literally shredding. It's almost like it was 3D printed because of the way that it shreds. Just from washing it. Just from washing it, mind you. Like usually when you get a chicken breast, there's that little film that you gotta pull off of it, right? And this
okay.
chicken, when you go to wash it, it starts falling apart.
I think that has a lot to do with the hormones, the antibiotics, and I had said it earlier, but Don just brought it up in the chat. Possibly cloned meat as well. Here's the thing with cloned meat. Even though we cloned Dolly the sheep, it is still a very unknown science. It's not enough time. Like from the time, like how old would Dolly the sheep be right now? Because that's as good as that would be like as much as we know about the longevity of a clone. It's meat and all that kind of stuff. I think she's dead.
Isn't Dolly like at this point like 18 years old or something?
Let's find out. Dolly, I can't. Oh, wait. The sheep's wait. The guy who created the sheep died. Dolly the sheep. Wait, I don't care about him. Okay, so no, the sheep is dead. It lived 7 years. And it died from progressive lung disease that was considered unrelated to her being a clone, but gathered lung disease after 7 years. That's crazy. What kind of shit is that?
Yeah, but how long does sheep generally live? Like,
10 to 12 years. So it died. It had a half-life.
yeah, 3/4. We almost made it.
And then, that's my favorite part. It didn't last the average because 10 to 12 years would be the average. It didn't last the average. And it also got fucking. Wait, where was it? It also had progressive lung disease. Wait, is that even normal in sheep? What the fuck? Like I just read that and went, do they smoke?
Only about 2 packs a day. Tried to cut back, but just couldn't do it.
So, according to Texas Farm Bureau, 1 out of every 5 Texans are deceived by misleading meat substitute food product packaging. So they made a bill that says that you have to have blatant packaging that states that this is a meat alternative. Because 1 in 5 Texans are deceived and are getting fake meat.
I bet they do. I bet because they put like that's so funny. That is so fucking funny. And I know what it's talking about because we just bought a bunch of meat, and it literally does say like in California, grass fed and all that kind of shit, organic. All those things are like small labels in a corner on the packaging. In Texas, they're bold letters across the top of it. A fellow Ukrainian student at the time once told me how bears would catch salmon, eat the head, and discard the rest when preparing for winter. The heads are apparently the fattiest part. Yes, the brain, the eyes, all that stuff is the fattiest.
That's after they are full, though. If they get too full, they'll just keep eating the fatty parts. But when they're real hungry, they eat all of it normally.
Yeah. Yeah, once they start getting all full and shit, they're like, I don't need all this stuff for nothing.
because they have to. They hibernate, and when they hibernate, they don't eat. So it's almost like fasting. So when they're in there for winter, they go in to little caves and stuff, which is pretty smart. But I guess I don't know about polar bears, though.
Polar bears don't hibernate. Wait, yeah, they don't hibernate. I'm gonna fact check myself. I'm positive they don't, but for some reason, someone says check that, Sean. Polar bears.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I don't think they do. Oh, yep, they do.
Well, you know what the next stage is, in my opinion, is like you look at Venezuela, that's like basically where we're headed. And I think sooner rather than later, within the next 2 years, I predict civil war or maybe even World War III within the next 2 years.
Well,
now,
I can
regardless of
definitely
who's
see.
president,
I can
it
see a
won't matter
World War III situation, but I don't see any type of revolution or any type of thing like that happening.
That's right.
Oh, I don't think they're. Yeah, I don't see. Here's the thing. A lot of motherfuckers want change. Not a lot of people actually want change. So what it just ends up looking like is just little groups of people fighting. Little groups of people wanting their opinion heard, and it's good. I want opinions heard, but I've never seen violence make things better.
I think it's pointless. I think that's a waste of energy. Although, that being said, I do like to pick fights. So maybe I'm talking out my ass.
In every sense of the way. No, it's
how did we get here?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
We went from is defunding the police pushing the blame to polar bears.
It's probably
Polar
my
bears
fault.
are
Well,
awesome.
no, you guys were talking about the polar bear thing, but I was bringing up other things like the beef and the milk and the fentanyl and.
That is a sign to take my ADHD medication, is what that is.
We had a super sneeze.
Wait a minute. Is that Dexedrine or is that Adderall or what is it?
It is straight up and amphetamine salts, 30 milligrams
There you go.
extended
Yep.
release.
I hate to tell you, that is meth.
Yeah,
That is
I don't give a
meth.
shit about the government drugging me. If they want to drug me, fine. Whatever.
Well, I can say
Who
that
cares?
Ritalin and Adderall are zombie medications because when I used to take them, I used to just become a zombie. So
I cleaned my
there's
house
another one.
yesterday. I took
you
it
did,
and I cleaned that house.
and you were like,
I had not cleaned the house at all this year. I want you to understand that.
"Well, I'm happy I gave you purpose."
That and the Adderall.
Yeah. Yeah. But I gave you the purpose to do that.
Yes. And I am very thankful for it because I like being in a clean house.
Yeah, but if I ever took Adderall, I literally just go take a nap. It's fucking the weirdest feeling. I hate it.
See, meth is like 10 times stronger than cocaine. It has the same effect. They're dopamine reuptake inhibitors. And then there's another thing they got serotonin reuptake inhibitor or whatever. And that acts on a different chemical like the serotonin. So
Trying to see what the hell they're reading and talking about in chat.
sometimes I wonder if I shouldn't take ADHD meds, but I don't. But
I have to. Dude, I'm so stupid when I'm not on medication. My brain does not function anymore without medication. And believe me, I tried. I got off of Adderall at 11. I'm 30 now, and I'm just now getting back on it.
I was what you call a Ritalin baby. That's how
I
old I am.
was.
It was before Adderall. When I was a child, I was on it. Was drugged by nuns, and then probably 2 years after that, my father took me off of it, and basically we figured out how to teach me how to learn without it. It wasn't easy, I can tell you that fucking much. But that's when I really got into a lot more sports and shit like that, and became an adrenaline junkie, and I hyperfixate on hobbies and shit due to the fact that I don't take medication for it. But weed is great. It helps a lot. Helps me focus. Because trust me, if I wasn't smoking right now, we'd have like 35 different topics we're talking about currently. I literally just forget what we were talking about a half hour ago. That's it. It's the only problem.
So like, every evening when we're talking, it's just that. Okay, here's one topic. Here's the other topic. We just fucking rapid fire the shit.
Yeah, because when we talk, that's how I look at it. Because when we're just talking in the background, it's like whatever you think, you just say. But like when we're here, it's like, here's the problem. This stream could have been started and ended in 6 minutes about defunding. But you, for the sake of everyone, you figure out a way and you actually talk about the in-betweens. And you have to look at it that way. I look at it that way. The live streams are just talk with detail. and detail from a lot of other people. So it's fun. The fuck are you guys talking about? Don't do that, Blue. That's a bad idea, Blue.
I am as lost as you are at this point.
I know.
And I'm the one clicking the comments. So.
He said, I get my medical advice from old-fashioned way. I watch fucking YouTube.
All right. So you saw the thing about Bill Gates and the beef. Now, there's another thing Bill Gates does where he said he wants to take genetically modified mosquitoes and release them. And then when the mosquito bites people, it will alter them or something. I don't know. Yeah. That's another thing you look up. Bill Gates mosquitoes or something.
Hey, you know what this? Here's the biggest fucking problem with this. With what you're doing, or with this topic. So, like, my instinctive thought is to go, motherfucking mosquitoes. Are you fucking kidding me? But here's the problem. If you type in Bill Gates and almost anything absurd, the motherfucker has something to do with it. It's the weirdest fucking thing in the world. Like, you would think Bill Gates why would Bill Gates have anything to do with geoengineering? But he has like one of the largest fucking geoengineering funding groups in the world.
You want to know why? Because he's a fucking nerd with money. Ta-da! There's the answer. He's a fucking nerd with money.
but here's the thing, because God damn it, man, Bill Gates mosquito talk. Fuck.
If I could have the money to genetically engineer me one of them glow in the dark cats, I would do it. Absolutely.
That's so weird. So weird you said.
Or
So
the
here
little
is
goldfish.
That's actually pretty easy to do. I've actually seen people do it on YouTube. I can't believe I just said
The
that.
first thing that pops up, it says
They use
World
a genome
Mosquito
for
Program.
bioluminescence, right?
Yeah, the first thing I got was Bill Gates once released a swarm of mosquitoes on a crowd to make a point about malaria. There is no reason for only poor people should have the experience, the billionaire said, before adding that the mosquitoes are not infectious. Gates, where am I? Gates was making this is not the right one. This is talk. Okay, wow. Did he really do that? Damn, we should talk about that. So, wow. Okay, so Where is this?
So I'm
Microsoft
gonna read you the
co-founder.
chat comments real fast.
Yes.
Or read the chat comments real fast if you want to, because it kind of ties into what you're fixing to read.
Okay.
Okay. So essentially, they're saying that he breeded them so that way, when they go to breed, they're sterile. They're not gonna reproduce at all.
Do you hear how stupid that is? See, I want you to think about. Okay, ready? I want you to think about this. You catch, I assume, mosquitoes. How many do you think you're going to catch? Just give me, like, let's say 1 million. That's not even a % of mosquitoes. So what you're going to do is you're going to sterilize mosquitoes and then release them. You know, mosquitoes don't even live very long, right? So that is like the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
I didn't say it wasn't a waste of money. I'm just saying that's what he's doing.
No, whoever told you that, they don't know. So, but there's a thing. It says when I Google it, the first thing that pops up, it says World Mosquito Program, the Gates Foundation and the World Mosquito Program. And so what he's doing is he
smoke it if you got it.
He genetically modifies the mosquitoes so that way when they bite you, it can prevent diseases like malaria. So it gives you the antibodies to, like, instead of you getting malaria from the mosquito, you actually get the antibodies. But I have my own theories that no, because he talks about depopulating people. And it's like, so he's not doing this to make people healthier and because he always talks about how he wants to depopulate people, but yet he wants to make these mosquitoes. And it's like, no, it's like, in my opinion, that's just my opinion, but it's probably not good, whatever he's doing, but I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Okay. So I don't want to point this out because this is why I do like when people bring these things up. So in the chat, where was that chat? The one that you brought up, the guy explaining what it was. You said this, read this because, okay, this one. So it's more of the modified mosquitoes are sterile, so they don't mate and don't reproduce. That is what mainstream promotes it, I guess, right? Because I'm looking at it. I'm looking at a fucking YouTube link that is basically the mosquito factory, one of Bill Gates's mosquito factory, and it literally is I don't know the fuck. It's a vaccine bug.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that word because I don't want to get in trouble. But yes,
I appreciate
that's
that.
basically what I was.
That.
Yeah, because I didn't want to say that because you can get in trouble. That's the thing, dude. There's a lot. The truth is censored.
Oh no! Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's my channel, and I don't give a fuck. Yeah. So I appreciate you not saying it. Thank you. I really do actually appreciate that. But I slip, and I'll do it all the time. But I don't. If I get taken down for saying vaccine, they can suck my dick.
Yeah, what the fuck? When did it get so bad?
See,
why is the censorship so awful nowadays?
If you speak any truth, they want to censor it. But if you want to talk mumbo jumbo nonsense, they don't care. And that's the way you can tell. You want to know how when you're hitting the nail on the head, are they censoring you? Because if you promote their agenda, they promote you. They'll bring you to the front of the search. They'll give you money. They reward stupidity. But if you're intelligent, there's no reward there. There's punishment. So I mean, they're I mean, if you Google lead in Lunchables. It's like, well, what does lead do? That lowers IQ. You know, they're
Oh,
purposely
lead's been
doing
in food.
everything. Yeah.
Lead's been in tons of different food. Lucas,
Well, that's why
back in
they
the day,
put it in the
it's called.
gas and everything else until they got
That's what
busted and
lead is.
people got mad.
Those little paintbrush lollipops had fucking lead in them. I think some kind of gummy, like I want to say Sour Patch, not Sour Patch Kids, but some kind of
Don't-
sour gummy
Hey, do not ruin that for me.
had lead in it at
Sour
one
Patch
point.
Kids.
Let me.
Yeah, so that definitely is a thing. That's
But
crazy.
that's kind of the thing is like people complain about Monsanto and how it can cause cancer. And there's even you can sue Monsanto if you got cancer from them, and it's like that. So people are eating this, and that's genetically modified food. And it's like, how did they genetically modify food?
Everybody's so worried about Monsanto, but nobody's worried about DuPont. Nobody cares about the Teflon. Nobody cares that.
Well, that's all the part of it is
in all of the water now.
Plastic is made of 100% female estrogen, and that's kind of the thing is they're feminizing.
Wait, what?
People.
Whoa, pause.
Wait, backtrack.
How can plastic be made 100% of estrogen?
That's why these nerds are a little weird. They'll sit there and think, "How are we going to get these people? Okay, we're going to invent a container, and this container is 100% estrogen." Yeah, if you Google like BPA is estrogen, but then that's why things will say BPA free. Well, it ain't. All they do is slightly change it, and then BPA is a like a name brand. That'd be like, oh, I'm wearing Nike. So it's like, okay, if you make a generic form of BPA, now you can sell it and it's BPA free, but it's still BPA. It's just the generic form. So all plastic is still BPA. And now they could make plastic and not BPA, but that's the point is they don't want to do that. They want it to purposely affect you. That's why they genetically modify soy to have estrogen. That's why non-genetically modified soy doesn't have estrogen, but genetically modified soy has a bunch of estrogen. That's why they call them soy boys or whatever.
I don't think I could. I don't agree with that
Ooh,
one.
that was a
That's
Logic
reach.
Olympics.
I got a lot of
My
plastic around
goodness.
me, and I definitely. I don't know. I think that one's a leap. I think.
Yeah.
we leaped
Well, the
on that
truth
one.
is definitely hard to handle, but I
Well,
can
you're
understand that.
making these claims, but I would really appreciate it if you would back it with evidence.
no, I
Like if you
know.
have an article or
Yeah.
you know.
Just you can Google BPA and estrogen or whatever, and then that's why people don't like BPA. But really, like I said, that's more of like a name brand. So if you made a generic version, but yeah, I can understand that this is deep and new, and that's kind of I do research.
Okay,
and
it's not estrogen, but it's an endocrine disruptor. That's what
Oh
you mean.
yeah.
Okay.
Something.
Okay. I do want to play this because actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to go let my dogs outside. But more importantly, I want to play this Mosquito Factory one. Oh, good thing I'm not monetizing because it has music in it. Let me see. Wait, can you hear that? Could you guys hear that a second ago?
Mm-mm.
You guys hear that?
No.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Why?
That's kind of my thing is I like real conspiracies, not like fake ones. So I try to gravitate to ones that I can prove and
I like
Yeah, no, you're
verify.
definitely right. You're definitely right about BPA. I'm not saying that you're not. I just was confused what you meant when
Yeah.
you were like, "Oh yeah, plastic is estrogen." I'm like,
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and play this real quick, and then it'll give us about 2-3 minutes. But this is about the mosquito thing that Ron was talking about. So this is where I looked into, and this popped up. This is one of the first things that popped up, and it's the mosquito factory. This is, so you guys can see, this is actually Bill Gates's YouTube channel. So it is what this is what he is promoting himself. It's not a someone says, someone else says. It's exactly what he says. So let's check this out.
Yep.
I'm at the world's biggest mosquito factory for the World Mosquito Program. We're making in here 30 million mosquitoes a week. Come and have a look. We're doing it for a very serious reason. Cities like Medellin have suffered from diseases like dengue, Zika, chikungunya for decades, but not anymore. We've been able to bring the solution of Wolbachia mosquitoes to this city. When this bacteria called Wolbachia gets introduced into the mosquito, it stops their ability to transmit dengue. We release mosquitoes that have Wolbachia, and then they go and mate, and Wolbachia gets passed into the wild mosquito population. If we're going to control these diseases in all the tropical cities of the world, it's going to require a lot of mosquitoes. The mosquito life cycle starts with the egg, and in this room, we've got a lot of eggs. Each one of these strips, these tiny black dots, are up to 10,000 mosquito eggs. Across all of these strips, about 1.5 million dried eggs waiting to hatch. In this tray, we've got the newly hatched eggs. They're little larvae, so small you can hardly see them. They're going to sit in here for a few days and eat and get bigger until they look like these ones over here. They're starting to turn into pupae. We're wanting to do the next step of sorting the males from the females. We want to do that so we can manipulate the sex ratio in the cages to be more female than male. The bottom ones along here are the boys, and the ones at the top are the girls. They're bigger. From here, they're going into the adult cages. We have adults that we continuously grow in what we call our brood stock. And then over here, we have the mass-produced mosquitoes getting ready to give us the eggs to go out directly into the field. It's crazy how they sound. You might wonder, what do we feed all these mosquitoes here? Well, I can tell you, we've got the good stuff in here. On the top shelf, literally, we've got the blood. They love it. Once the mosquitoes are grown, they're ready to go out into the field. The first way is to get the eggs and package them in a gelatin capsule with food. Voila. There's 300 eggs in here and enough food for the mosquitoes to be able to grow. They just need to be dropped in water. The other approach is to take the adults themselves. Here we have 300, and they can be released off the back of a motorbike or even packaged into a drone for aerial release. Over half the world's population is currently suffering or at risk of contracting these diseases. We have a solution, and our goal is to scale and deliver it to communities around the world that need it.
Interesting. Which one is it? I'm trying to find the right one. All right, there we go. Yeah, so I mean, that's it. It's crazy. I do find it odd that you can do that with Bill Gates. You can basically type Bill Gates and then find anything. I actually do need to wrap this one up, unfortunately. Something actually just came up, so I'm not thrilled about it, but I have to take care of some stuff. I will be live streaming tomorrow, so it's going to be tomorrow will be for sure. I do have an idea of what I want to do. Tex, you have to be here because Travis has been calling us out. He has a friend that he wants to talk to us as well.
He's calling us out?
Yeah, and then he wanted me to go on his live stream earlier, but I told him I was like, "Hey, I'm in the middle." Like it was at 9 o'clock. I'm like, "I'm getting ready for my live stream." He's like, "Oh, stop by real quick." I'm like, "It doesn't work that way," but I want him to come here. I don't. He said he has that. I told you he has an Aussie friend that wanted to talk to us.
Yeah. About what?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I don't like that. Find out.
No, that's the best part. That is the fun part.
You're just gonna raw dog a conversation, huh? That's how it's gonna be. I see.
Well, if it's allowed. Let me see here. See if they. That's so wrong. I should have said that. Bill Gates is bad because he's for vaccinations, and Bill Gates is bad because he's, according to one soundbite, against. No. Oh, nerd. Oh, geez. I was just about to end it. We'll do a stream. Matter of fact, I'll touch on that tomorrow, nerd.
Well, I can
Just so
leave
you
you with the end goal of why he's doing this. As
Go
those
ahead.
mosquitoes, they have alien body snatchers in there. But okay, now I'm done. Okay. No, seriously, I ain't even joking. But
Oh, you're for. Oh well. Hey, come
yeah,
back
no,
tomorrow.
seriously.
Okay, if you come tomorrow, I will. I promise you, I will give you the floor to explain that one.
Okay, yeah, I figured I'd leave you with and at least now you know. But anyway, yeah, okay,
That's a
all
good
right.
cliffhanger. That's a good one. I do appreciate.
I'll
Ron,
leave it
thanks for
for
joining.
later, though. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for joining. I do appreciate it. I hope you come back around. If you, tomorrow I'll be live streaming. I set up the same way, so it'll be an open panel. You're more than welcome to join. I actually would like to hear about that part. I've never heard that one before. So I'm going to go ahead.
So when are you coming back?
Tomorrow, same time.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'll see if I can try to join.
Yeah. If anything, I would hit that subscribe button because I do randomly go live, but I will be for sure live tomorrow morning.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely,
thanks
sir.
for coming
Appreciate you
by.
coming in.
Oh, thanks again. Bye.
That was cool. I actually like Ron.
Yeah. He was right. He was like, yeah, it's made out of fucking estrogen. So I had to go look it up, and yeah, he's right. That shit tripped me the fuck out.
But here's the thing. It is not the same thing.
It's not the same thing, but it is.
It's not. But it's not. But it's not. It's not. It is not. It is not estrogen.
Did you see?
I want. Hang on. Stop. I want everyone using your computer right now or your cell phone. I want you to pick that up, your mouse or cell phone. I want you to turn it 360. I want you to look at it, and I want you to notice there's a lot of plastic on that. And I want you to understand something. It is not making you want to suck dick. If you want to suck dick, it's because you want to.
Speak for yourself, Shawn.
It's because you want to. It's not because your appliances made you. There's nothing.
I thought this was a cute little joke. I wanted to put it up here.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, anywho, I may be late, so tell Travis, to just hold on, because my husband's doctor's appointment is at 8:30.
I can bring it until you have time. If you don't make it, you don't make it. That's a pretty big deal.
Okay.
Remove. Is it to remove or just check to see if?
Not sure yet.
Okay. Good luck. Hopefully that works out. More than
You're kind of breaking up.
Am I? It's got to be on your end then. I have excellent internet. I have stupid good internet.
It could just be that you're mumbling.
Oh, I was mumbling. That is for sure. And then I was breaking up. No, I was absolutely mumbling. I was not trying to say what I was saying out loud to say. While at the same time saying it out loud. But yeah, we're gonna get out of here.
All right, let's go.
I got things to do. I'm tired and hungry as well. Not gonna be able to sleep, but I got things to do. The Travis thing should hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully Ron shows up. I'm not gonna lie. I want to know about the fucking aliens and the mosquitoes. That sounds fucking great. And maybe we can have like a more of a laughy stream tomorrow than today's. But it wasn't that bad. No,
Yeah, I
what
was
made it
enjoying
bad?
it.
No, I know what made it bad. I remember now. I remember what aggravated me for this stream because I wasn't aggravated at all, but somebody made me aggravated. This douchebag. This one right here. This one right here. This one right here.
Yeah.
This guy. That shit was crazy. Like he was like, Tex, you can't raise my taxes. No,
You know
I'm
what?
not gonna let you do it. I'm not sending you PayPal.
I want to explain to people. I look a certain way, and you're going to make an assumption that I am a liberal, but I am not. My father is a libertarian. My real father is a staunch Republican. My grandparents are Republicans. My mother does not associate. Like, so my opinions are very much self-formed opinions. I am the least biased when it comes to politics. There are things that I personally want, and I want people to understand that is my personal opinion, right? You do not have to agree with it at all. I am not an expert. This is just what I want to see because I have to live with it.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that. That's my outro, so you can finish off now.
Awesome. I have actually nothing to say. I think that today will be unique in that I will not be ranting us out of here. I think just our back and forth and our goodbyes will be it.
All right. Well, talk to you later.
Have a good one. Later, everyone. Peace.
If it disagrees with experiment, it's wrong. And that simple statement is the key to science. It doesn't make a difference how beautiful your guess is. It doesn't make a difference how smart you are who made the guess or what his name is. If it disagrees with experiment, it's wrong.
Yeah, look, they said that I couldn't do it, so I went and did it. W's only, you know I've been winning. Top of the world, the globe is spinning. If you know, I've been on a mission. Go. Okay, let's get it. Got a little time on my hands like a wristwatch. I don't got time for the brakes and the pit stop. Race through the gridlock, take it like Chris Rock. Right to the chin, still win. Heavy metals like Slipknot. Got the driving, I got tunnel vision. I just hit my stride the way I run the business. I've been making paper like I'm Dunder Mifflin. See the end game, I got one division. Look, I don't ever bother with a critic. Hit him with a chronicle of Riddick. Boom, bottle full of Ritalin. I hit him with a little bit of riddle me this, riddle me that. My bad, fell asleep at the gas. No time to wait though. Elon Musk, I'm trying to bankroll. New Tesla just cause I say so. Electric whip like Ivan Vanko. I just did it. W's only, you know I've been winning. Top of the world, the globe is spinning. If you know, I've been on a mission. Okay, let's get it.
I've been on a mission like totally spice. I'm baddie, she bad, but she totally nice. Nails are blue and her toes feel like white. They complete me, man, y'all at the soul for my leg. He knew it for sure, but he left with a why.